This is facial proportions continued. Now what I'm going to be able to do is the second step of laying out the face. Where exactly do the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the eyebrows, and all of those features fit in the grand scheme of things? So to give myself a little guide, I have a nice paper over here, and there is going to be a few guidelines that we draw out. In the middle, directly in the middle, at the halfway point of the face, I'm going to make myself a new guideline. And that is going to represent my eye line. So I'm going to write that over on the side. So that eye line, this is where the eyes, at least the bottom of the eyes, is going to extend to. Now we're going to do just a general kind of guide for what we do to put the eyes on the paper. And I think I have another guide here that's going to show us more about that. So one thing to keep in mind as we're getting ready to draw out the eyes, I want you to see this picture right here. Okay, this one right here, what they're showing you are eye lengths. So if you're free drawing a face and you're looking at someone or a photo in front of you, these are guides that are going to help you lay out the face. These are just to get it started. You're going to tweak it and make adjustments, and you're going to be doing the actual features of the person, if you will. But the general guide is 5 eye lengths across. So here's what we're going to do. That first eye length is right smack in the middle. The eye length is going to extend. Each eye length is going to be 5 lengths apart. So here's what we're going to do. On my eye line, I'm going to put a little arrow there. I'm going to start by trying to lay it out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, that's too many. So got to go back. And I make these mistakes because all of you are going to do the same thing. When you start laying out the eyes, it's really important because so many people misjudge it and end up making the eyes too close together or too far apart. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start in the middle, and I've given myself a general guideline. Is this going to be perfect? Probably not on my first time. Is that okay? No problem. You're learning. All right, so here's one eye length. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I didn't extend all the way to the side of the face. Is that okay? Yes, here's why. Would I like it if my eye length extended all the way to this line right here? Yeah, I would appreciate if I could draw it perfectly the way I want to, but I'm not measuring with a ruler. And when you're drawing a person or a picture in front of you and you don't have a ruler handy, I want you to know how you can lay out that face. Is it okay if it's not perfect 5 eye lengths across? Yes, as long as your eye lengths are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and continue, and I'll show you what do I do with that extra space I have on there. Okay, remember when you drew out the face the first time? We didn't use a ruler, and we just started drawing. So if your eye lengths don't match up perfectly, it's okay. But also, I could go back and I could say, okay, I really want those eye lengths to go all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and erase. I'm teaching you that when you're on your own and you're drawing a face and you're maybe you have someone in front of you or you have a picture, what can you do to make it 5 eye lengths? So you definitely not 5 eye lengths. What I'm saying is what can you do so that it's going to look like that person? It's important to start with those 5 eye lengths. And right now, if my eye lengths are not perfect that first time, sometimes I've got to redraw it, okay? So now I'm going to make them really dark because I have other ones that will not erase very well. But if your first drawing is 5 eye lengths across and they're equal eye lengths, it's not wrong. I mean, as you're a beginning artist, you will see that you'll have to make adjustments when you're drawing. I don't ever draw something perfect the first time, ever. I'm not that kind of artist. I wish I could do things perfect the first time, but I don't. Most of my students would struggle to make these eye lengths. If they're equal, and they don't extend all the way to the side of that first pretty little drawing that you made, it's not a big deal. If you want to get out a ruler and you want to make them perfect, 5 eye lengths across, go for it. All right, so next thing we're going to do is kind of give ourselves a little bit of a guideline for the nose. So generally speaking, you're going to have a circle that's going to represent the top 2/3 of the face. Now, you don't necessarily need to do what I just did, but what I'm doing is just giving myself a couple of guidelines. If you look at this picture here, a lot of people start off drawing the face with a giant circle, kind of like this, and then they add in the chin at the bottom. So you're going to see different kinds of tutorials over the coming days that we're working on this lesson. I want you to understand what you're looking at. Many different artists have different ways of drawing out the face. It's not an easy thing, so people find what works for them, and then they go with it. All right, so at the bottom of that first 2/3, I'm going to have at the bottom mark of that circle I just made is going to be the bottom of the nose. Now, the nose itself extends to about that corner of the eye. Now, this is a general rule, but it's not the way it always is. I have drawn people many, many times, and their noses are not always going to come to the corner of that eye length. So, but for now, I'm going to give myself just a little edge of the nose, okay? I'm giving myself a tip, and I'm going to give myself a nostril. I'm not really focusing on any important details. Just giving myself some guidelines, and that will serve as a nice, helpful reminder when I am working on drawing someone, whether a picture or in front of me. This is a nice little guideline to look at to help remind me. I'm going to go ahead and bring in an eye right up here. We're going to talk more about eyes specifically later on. For right now, right above that eye line, I'm going to give myself a little curve. And then underneath that, I'm actually going to keep that line straight. It's not the way the shape of the eyes always is, but it's what I want you guys to know to get you started. You're never going to see the full iris of the eye unless someone has their eyes wide open in surprise or fear or something of that sort. So you should not see the entire iris, which is the area that I'm pointing to here. And this is just a guide. So I extended from the corner right in here to the other corner here, and gave myself a nice little rainbow shape or U shape, if you will, and then a small iris right in the middle. I cannot see the entire iris, and that is just fine. Moving on from there, the next halfway point is going to be between the nose line and the chin line. Nose line and chin line. And then I have my mouth line. Generally speaking, that halfway point between those two is going to be the bottom of the mouth. Again, that's just a little guide to give you. And then what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and bring in the mouth. It's going to extend approximately a quarter. It's going to be approximately at the middle of the eye. So I'm going to give myself a little guideline here. The middle of the eye. And that's going to serve as the edge of the mouth. It's a nice little guide. It's not perfect, but it's a guide. And I would tweak that to match the actual person, but this is a nice little guide. And then underneath the mouth is usually the little bump for the chin. And last thing to put on your paper is going to be a hairline. So halfway between the top of the head and that first third mark is going to be my hairline. Just a general guide. Everybody's hairline is completely different. Everybody's eyes are completely different. Their nose, their mouth, their chin. This is simply a guide to help you lay it out.